That's how we know there are loads of gay men in the Catholic Church.
That would be
they invented confession.
They invented confession. Like,
what's the tea, girl? I mean, how long has it been since your last confession?
Yeah.
You know.
Spell it. How long has it? How much sins have you accumulated since the last time we spoke?
And they've got like all the other priests all like sitting in the wee box.
It's not spill the tea. It's spill the blood of Christ.
Yes.
Until your sons.
Until your sins, aye. That's the only thing that would kind of make me want to be a priest, just for an hour.
I honestly just love the vibe, the aesthetic. Obviously, I'm not religious. I'm not anti-religious. I'm anti like organized religion. Yeah. I'm anti the corporate element of it, but the Gothic aesthetic that Catholicism has. Gorgeous.
Well, they do a good
Gorgeous.
window. But can I just say, whenever I went to university, and I studied drama, right? Actually, whenever I was going through my degree and learning about semiotics and learning about stage presence and all this, I, at the time, was going out with a guy who was still forced to go to chapel every Sunday. So the odd Sunday I had to go, and it was then when I sat there one day and they were shaking the thurible, with the incense. And I went, this is theatre, darling.
It is.
Theatre.
It's so performative.
But if you think back in the day, whenever, because isn't this is Vatican II that we live in at the moment, because it was John Paul the First brought in Vatican II, which was by then.
Is that like Terminator?
I know, I was like,
back with a vengeance.
This time it is a personal.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. That's the whole.
Sorry,
He'll be back.
Can I just say, actually, welcome to Bronagh. Welcome to a very special episode of Bronagh. Because we have the Gemma Hutton, aka Dick Van Dyke herself.
Van Dyke.
Sure.
Himself. I've talked this before. My cabaret husband.
Yes.
Because we job
and we
share.
talk about you quite a lot. Your ears must be burning every Thursday.
Well, it's not my ears.
When I'm referring, but here
More pleasant bits.
You can go to. You can get over the counter for thrush now. You
One
don't
pill.
need to go. That's great. You can get that wee thing you shove up your doot. And then
I
put the
knew
cream.
a fella,
It's great.
and he thought that it was called can't stand cream. Caniston.
Yeah.
He thought it was called can't stand because your fanny was
can't
so
stand,
itchy you couldn't
actually.
stand.
Can't stand it.
Can't stand.
I love it.
Remember the advert with the wee cartoon woman and she had like the red.
Yeah,
Go on,
it's definitely better than firing Yoplait up you. Do you know what I mean?
Get the Yoplait.
Yeah.
Fromage free.
That's what was wrong
problem
with.
altogether.
That's what was secretly wrong with Nicole Scherzinger and all those Muller adverts. She had thrush and she needed a secret way to get fucking.
Well, she shouldn't have got the corners in them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put it in first.
Or you can even just get the lid and stick it on your husband's nose and then get him to go down. Be like, go on.
Oh my.
Or wife.
But then you put the wee compote on it afterwards to.
Compote.
I get my own compote once a month.
You get your own compote once a month.
Strawberry compote. Are you reasonably disgusted by this stage? Do you think we've
I'm haunted. Yeah.
brought it up?
Yeah.
No,
I'm
I think we don't talk about. I don't think we talk about like fannies in a positive yogurty fashion enough.
Yogurt. Yeah. Do you know that they
Big fan.
started using red liquid?
Oh yeah! Can you believe that this is newsworthy? Do you know, like it's 2024? It's like we don't like how many 80s boys do you know that probably secretly thought we were like fucking Avatar bleeding out blue, like our royal periods.
You'd but squished a Smurf in your pants. Do you know what I mean?
Did you see that post a girl put up on Twitter, or AKA X or whatever the fuck you call it now, saying that her boyfriend genuinely believed. You know, a sanitary towel, aka fanny pad, right?
Yes.
He
got
thought
wings.
he thought it was like a sticker, like a plaster, and you stuck it over your fanny, and that's what happened, and it caught the blood. He didn't know that the sticky bit was for the knickers.
So
he thought like women put a wee fanny plaster
he
on.
thought of like of a vagina as a menstrual wound.
Yes.
Really, so that he would just stick
Menstrual.
A field dressing.
her menstrual
What?
wound.
A field dressing.
A field
during the war.
There you go, chap. Do you know harm? You know.
That should prevent the
During
amputation.
the war, when my husband was out in the field, we didn't worry about such things as sanitary towels. We just stuck a plaster on our vagina and got on with it.
What's wrong with it? Keep calm and carry on.
Hello.
Anyhow.
Keep calm and carry on, child.
Sheila, are you on your monthlies? Yes, I am, but you couldn't know it by the way I'm getting on. I'm just getting on with it.
Yeah.
Sponsored by fucking duct tape.
Sponsored by... Shh, don't talk about it.
Yeah. Waxing strip in one. Because that's you ready to roll after your period, and you get the you know when you get the post-period horn? Yes. Just wrap off the duct tape and you're ready to roll, aren't you?
That's
it's
it.
lino and it's gone, it's ready
Is that
for
how
landing.
you know, maybe like in your, like, you know, in your body that like, right, I'm Maffet now. I need red. Is that sort of
No,
like...
that
I
is
know
perpetual.
Yeah.
That's a perpetual... Oh,
I
so it
know
doesn't-
whenever I'm ovulating because
Yes.
I am horny as
Yes.
fuck. And
Yes.
even though I have 4 children and do not need any more, there's this wee insidious hormone that gets inside your brain and goes, just have another baby.
Yeah.
They're cute.
I recommend lesbianism for that.
Yeah, see, that would be...
You get the force without the source, do you know what I mean?
force without the source. I love it. But no, there's something to do with the danger that I like.
What, like...
Interesting.
Yeah.
What, like dodging the
jizz.
projections?
Yeah.
The projectiles?
The projections.
The oxen seed?
Yeah.
The seed
ox.
The seed ox. Because we were... Yes, you missed it. Well, we'll talk about it because it's in the Patreon.
There is a great
It's in the
Patreon coming
It was
up. The Patreon.
Patreon was very good. It was
Educational.
per Gemma was thrown straight into the ADHD pool.
Basically, just seen a chalkboard and given no context. And before I knew it, I was describing jizz, and that's not something
Please sign up to our Patreon if you're in. And thank you to all the new members. We've got
Thank
a few
you
new
so
members
much.
this week.
Yes, we do love that.
Indeed.
Good. Okay.
So
We're
you
very
just
lucky.
saw a chalkboard and started to describe basically like any altar boy.
Do you know yourself?
It's me. I just, you know, when I just go all in, really, don't I? I'll
You
just
do,
lean into
you
it.
do.
That's what I
we
love.
You know.
love. I have to say though, like winding back, one of the reasons I am was very excited, other than being I'm your work wife, the other side of the thing. Yeah, what I love about Gemma and Dick is that
It's my personality, like Venom, like a shit version of Venom.
well, yes, just
I love
fucking
it.
Tom Hardley.
Yes! That's going to be my drag
That's your
name.
drag king
Right,
name.
that's
Tom
my
Hardley.
drag
Tom
king
Hardley.
name.
Justin.
Tom Hardley.
Justin.
Please. Do you know I turned around? Sorry, sidebar, by the way. I know.
You know this.
Pin.
I phoned my ma. I literally did talk to my ma before a few years ago, and I was talking, Mummy, see your man, Tom Hart. This is the way I like to talk to my ma, by the way. I introduced her to, you know, your child just fucking, you have to love it, right?
You do.
And I go to her, see your man Tom Hardy. I claim him like a fucking tree, like, Mummy. I'm telling you, I wouldn't get tired sitting on his face, right? And she went to me, what? The old lad that takes everybody round the graveyard? And I went, oh, it's Tom Hartley, Mummy. My mom thought that I had a crush on this old lad that takes people on tours of the graveyards in
Insert-
Belfast.
Insert stiff joke.
So she was absolutely horrified, and then I was like, "No, Mummy, Tom Hardy," and she was like, "You're still a dirty bastard."
I honestly, I wouldn't have corrected her for a while.
No, just let her.
I'd let her sit with that.
Yeah, just been like, yeah, that's the kind of man I'm into. Now let me introduce you to my hood of a boyfriend.
Yeah.
He'll be an
Bronagh has
improvement to
wide,
anything.
diverse tastes.
How many Freemason graves are there?
Take me to the Republican plot.
Do you know, I did a wee tour of the is it Clifton Cemetery?
Yeah,
The bottom of the Crumlin Road. And I've never felt more Protestant in my life. Like
real?
just there's
You've
loads
never
of
been to Newry?
wonderful.
You've been Protestant.
been-
Bing.
I
Totally.
just taking us around all the IRA men and you know all these Republicans and that it was really really interesting. But I just felt like the only thing that was saving me was I was very visibly a big massive lesbian. Which cancels out your Protestant.
Entirely cancels it out.
So I live in a Catholic area now, and they're okay with it.
Oh, it's this too.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, guys?
Fake news,
Smell
love.
that, sure.
Fake news.
that wee girl. Did you hear that, guys? I don't know what that was. I'm scared.
Disgusting.
So you phoned your ma.
So you phoned your man.
Do you think that being lesbian does cancel out because queerness? You're like,
Yeah.
you know what? I've got other shit going on.
Yeah, it's fine because I'm not going to be voting for.
Yeah,
Aye.
them other.
You know.
Usual.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Who do we vote for?
I talk Gaelic.
Bravo!
I messed up.
Brava! She talks Gaelic. I
So-
fucking love it.
But yeah, so I live in a very Catholic area, and it's the safest I've honestly ever felt, to be honest.
When Al and I were looking for we were looking at new houses in back in 2018. If we went into an area and there were loads of like Union flags, we were like, no. And
When the flags go up, the house prices go down.
But
just the way it goes.
Gander.
if we were in an area where there were lots of like Irish flags, or I think we were like, oh, okay, let's like it would have been.
And that's
I'm
really
just
frustrating
saying.
because like it's not fair on all people. Like it is
No.
a broad generalization of people, and that's very unfair. But also, you know, facts.
As we see in this particular week in which we are living, it is that
It's
small
dystopia.
number of people who make it look like other people
Yeah.
are. Because one of the things that kind of really hit home for me, just so you know, saying
Just
anybody listening who's maybe
anybody
not-
listening who is in re-watching, because I know there's a lot of people that are starting from the beginning because
going
they've
through.
just met us.
Yes.
Love a binge watch.
wee bit in
So
bed.
do I.
In bed or in the bath or something, or going home from work or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
We listen.
Our Priscilla, I'm not sure if that's her real name, but that's her Patreon name. She was like, I've just found you. I'm rewatching from the start all the we've just so hello. But
Hi,
yes,
Priscilla.
this week in
Hey, baby.
hey mom, in the UK / over here as well. There's been a lot of hate and misinformation and disinformation.
Dystopia.
Just lies, and like let's call it what it is, folks. It's white supremacist fascism at its heart.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not really about, you know, and what hit home for me for all of this thing, and I think it's really hard. You don't want to fall into white savior complex, but one of the cafe, the Bash cafe that was burnt out on the Donegal Road last weekend was right across from where my husband's cafe was. You know, so my husband's cafe, Causeway Cafe,
Used to be.
now has new owners, but across those. So we saw those guys set that up. We saw those guys go over. We saw their maybe it would have been any gain. It would have been going across the road. Well, do you know what I mean? Like didn't maybe know them, don't know their names. I know now that the owner, he is from Sudan, which is a place that has its own problems, hugely racist, sort of like, you know, Arab Sudanese would be very racist towards black Sudanese and things we don't understand
Complexities within it.
that
Yeah.
we don't know. So they're over here. He's over here legally. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been
With
able
a
to set up a
business
business.
that, you know,
Creates
creates
jobs,
revenue.
creates revenue, puts money into the economy. Do you know? And it just it wasn't just it shouldn't take that. I put my hands up and I go, okay, it shouldn't take that to make me feel invested in it, but because it was so recognizable and part of my life for so like those couple of years, 2 or 3 years that he was open, I felt very personal. It felt very real. It wasn't just a news story. It was people that do you know? And I think, do you know what? I think it's sort of a felt a bit like, I imagine, you know, for a lot of people, it's about like how people in London or Liverpool felt about when they saw all the things about us on the news during the 80s and 90s. It's like, oh, that's terrible, what's happening over there. Whereas like this for me was like, no, this is on your doorstep.
Yeah.
This is happening right here.
But it always has been. Like, you know, the thing is, it's just, they've all just got power in numbers at the minute. One person started speaking out, but it's like there has always been racism in the north of Ireland. There has always been like fascism. There's been homophobia, transphobia. It's all there. It's just that it hasn't been able to pop the surface. And finally, it's just popped the surface.
It's been emboldened by people who, like,
Well, we're white, so we've never experienced it.
No,
We've experienced queer phobia and stuff.
Yes.
we've rallied with that, but we've never experienced racism as white people. We've had that privilege.
Yep.
So now we're all sitting shocked going, I can't believe there's so many racists out there. Like, I've said that and I've had to unfriend people on my Facebook. But you speak to any person of colour or black community, they've always
Global
had it.
majority.
Yeah.
It's
So
the global majority.
A friend of mine, Remy, hiya. He is mixed race, and he loves going, as you know, like my husband is mixed race as well, and he's like, we, the global majority, and I kind of love that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Kurt took kind of a not nice reaction to being referred to as BAME.
Okay.
Because that's problematic in and of itself, you know, black and minority
Asian,
ethnic.
minority ethnic.
And he was like, but why do we need to put a label on it? And I was like, because people like labels, you know.
Love a label.
We love a label.
You know, they love a wee
The
label.
thing about labels is that it's helpful for some people, but not for other people. And I think you should be able to...
Do you know what I think we should do for the benefit of anybody watching who might be in doubt, might be thinking of unsubscribing because we aren't racist? I have realised this week, by the way, don't let the door hit you on the way back in. I have realised
Don't let the door
week
hit you with a good Lord split you.
that even seemingly rational people can be racist assholes or
Yeah.
just won't listen to reason. So I was talking to people recently and they're like, but they're getting, right, let's put the lies to bed, right?
But as soon as somebody says...
They're
but
not getting
they-
everything, right?
No.
They're not getting your council houses.
No.
They're not getting council houses set aside for them right away. I literally had to, I got conscripted, should I say, to read all of this data that was compiled by Queen's University and the government of Northern Ireland that was all about immigration, whether legal, illegal. It was all about the conditions of people who have immigrated to come here. And I basically had to read all these stories, first-hand accounts, and the data, and then try and make some sort of coherent monologue out of them.
Which fair play, because that is, it's really, whenever all these things are stripped down to bare data, it's very dry.
It's hard
It's
to
very
ignore the
dry,
fact.
but it's good.
It was bloodless.
It's bloodless.
So I had to try and take all this data
Put humanity into it.
Put humanity into it. So I'm here to say, right, right.
According to the research,
out of all of the people who are currently subscribing to any kind of social housing or housing executive, people, black and minority ethnic and immigrants, are at the bottom of that queue, right? They are the if I want to drag the actual statistic, it was the bottom 6%. So the rest of the 84% is made up from people who live here. They're the bottom 6%. They're not. If they are lucky enough to be placed in any accommodation, it is usually extortionately priced by landlords, fallen down with rot, damp.
Landlords are the problem.
And if they are in hotels, let me tell you, it's not like whenever we go to the Galgorm and get up in the morning and have our breakfast, right? These are the kind of hotels that, a lot of them, if you were to book and go to, you'd go, well, we'll just find somewhere else. They're in the middle of nowhere. They're putting Sudanese people in with, say, Syrian people, all in the one room, women.
All in the... I think that's a really important point
all
to make as well. Like
room.
the dehumanisation of you have come from your country where you might have been... And let me be very clear as well. I am a working class person. I am not putting down working class jobs. What I mean is, imagine if something happened in your country where you are a doctor and you are very highly respected among your community. You're getting really, really good money.
There was actually lots of case studies. There was an engineer, a guy who was a structural engineer, head of his, field.
Yeah.
And he said that he was really trying, now that he could legally work, to get a job in KFC or McDonald's. Because if you get the jobs in there, you can also get food.
Yeah.
While you're working.
Yep. And we are by
some
no
of
means,
us are lucky enough to get those jobs.
And we are by no means...
This is someone
tertiary services, third services are the backbone of our country because that's where young people get their first jobs. That's where a lot of people learn their skills. People are making money. People who need part-time work so they can help raise their families. we're not saying those people that's the job that we would turn our nose up to, but what we're saying is a skilled surgeon is coming to a country with an NHS in crisis, and because they are Muslim or because they are brown or black skin,
and they're still waiting on being approved to work. You know, these people are because they're running from something, they're running to something, they want a job, they want a better life, and we are the biggest fucking immigrants in the world.
You can't be Irish and racist.
No.
Surely.
No.
You cannot fly that flag.
We've only been white for 120
and
years.
Also, like, we're looking at, like, you know, you look at the Unionists and you're like,
lads,
do you know how this all happened? Like, do you want to talk about divide, conquer, going to another land, etc.? Like, you know.
There was this. There was an Asian comedian. I can't remember his name, but he joked before. He said, "Fucking Britain!" Like he says, "I'm from India. Yous are great at coming over, taking over people's countries and telling them how brilliant Britain is, and then getting really annoyed when those people follow you home to see what it's like."
Yeah. That's right. And all these riders have gone and got a kebab at the end of the night.
But it's like a lot of these, like especially like, if you think about like people who are
or your fish and chips,
Indian,
which is Portuguese.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Fish and chips.
Fish and
Vindaloo.
chips.
I'm shocked.
Portuguese.
Okay.
But you know, like
We just took the season out, I assume.
we just
We have in your St. George's flag, which is He was Turkish.
was
So
Turkish.
maybe rethink that one.
I mean, King Billy.
Belly, Dutch, bisexual,
And queer.
Inspired share.
I think as well, like one of the things I've been trying really, really, really hard not to do, and it's been really hard, folks, is to try not to demonise the rioters. Hear me out. Okay, I know. For those who are listening and not watching, Gemma's face has just taken on the stance of someone who's found a skid mark on a hotel tile. Bear with me.
I'm listening.
Because I find that this is the reason. Because this is the strategy. We look at other working class people, they go, they're the dicks. We look at other working class black people, they're the problem. Whereas we should always be looking up. We should be looking at the people who are... So if you are a person who's rioting, you're up, you're probably not listening.
You've been misinformed.
You're misinformed.
You haven't been informed at all.
You haven't been informed at all. But, you know, if you have a problem in your area where you can't get housing and you perceive that a black or a brown skinned person is getting that house, do you know what I mean? It's not their fault. Look at the government has... I think the housing executive in Northern Ireland, north of Ireland, I think there are plans to build housing executive houses now. Do you know when the last time they built housing executive houses was? 25 years ago.
Yeah, and there was meant to be like a scheme where it was getting built every single year. But also, like, do you know what? Exactly what you said is correct. Like, we should be looking up the amount. Like, COVID is a good example of empty houses. And it was like there is enough empty houses that every homeless person in Belfast could be homed if they chose to. Not every homeless person wants to be homed, and that's something that people really struggle with as well. But that's another thing for another time.
Story, yeah.
But they were able to. There was a week during COVID that they put homeless people into empty accommodation, and there was a plant about there was loads. So it's like,
it would
well,
be left over.
if there's loads of spare houses, the problem isn't people taking these houses.
No.
The problem is that you're ignoring the fact that nobody's done anything with these houses. So,
but if you look, if you are hungry or you can't afford things or you cannot get a house, don't blame immigrants. Blame the billionaires.
Don't
eat the
punch
rich.
down.
Eat the rich.
Get the guillotine out. We'll go for them first. Then the landlord.
Iceland, sometime in the 19th century, Iceland, they found out like the.
Honestly, I thought you meant the shop.
Go to
I was like, because
Iceland.
that is good bargains.
Is Kerry Katona going
Big
to
fan.
and like be part of this story? Once I'm to Iceland, I love a prawn ring. Me.
I'm not sure where Kerry Katona's from, but let's carry on.
I don't know where she's from. I don't
Immigrant.
Know that accent. She's an immigrant. She's from Liverpool. But she.
Is she from Liverpool?
No.
Ghost not
I
English.
thought she was Manchester.
Was she Manchester?
Yeah, she's Manchester.
Manchester. I was my head shows.
I'm Kerry Katona.
Iceland, did they not like find the mayor of Reykjavik or whatever it is? And did the people not like kill him and eat him?
Did they?
I mean, if they did serve, slay.
Slay.
Fair
Like
play.
they did both.
This is TJ, Pussy Cunt Queen, and this is like a thing that he said the other day. It was like TJ, who is one of our backstage hands at the cabaret.
Chief Carabiner.
Daddy.
Yeah.
I call him
Daddy Uncle Coffee Maker.
Daddy Uncle Tea.
Daddy Uncle Coffee.
Daddy
maker.
Uncle Coffee Maker Tea.
My drag son.
I love that.
Huge amount of paternal energy, but also doesn't like people. Do you know what I mean? It's a very
That was one of the chats
think that is-
we had
That's people.
before I started as well about the lesbian communities of like asphyxiation with carabiners.
I
Oh
know
yeah,
you said-
yeah.
Oh.
So yes,
yeah, it's a
yes,
thing.
this is a sidebar. So yes, to wrap up what we're saying is put a pin in that because we want to go back to this because this is something that Sean and I want to find out about. Like I feel as though basically what I'm saying is I'm trying really hard not to demonize the rioters because I feel the
Fair.
rioters are being used as a
distraction.
weapon and a distraction. It's like transphobia. It's like homophobia. It's like any form of racism. It's a smokescreen. It's a smokescreen to stop people from looking at what the problem is. And the problem is that there's a small amount of people hoarding a lot of the goods, a lot of the wealth, a lot of the resources. And what has Elon Musk ever actually done? What has he actually ever achieved for the good of the people? What has Nigel Farage ever actually achieved for the good of the people?
He left the country.
Oh, yeah. Go, Gemma. Is he an immigrant now?
Yeah, he lives in France with his French wife and his French children. Or is it French?
German. I think
German,
his
sorry.
wife's
Is it
German.
And they all have German passports as kids. And he was asked to move back to UK because he got a seat, and he said, nah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Here, do you know what?
Yeah.
Right. We have discussed the immorality. I was going to say...
Folks, this has been really powerful.
let's-
Honestly, I thought I was going to come here and talk about fingering, but this
Well,
has
here-
been very good.
Don't
because we have...
don't forget about the fingering yet.
The
There's still
fungering.
time.
Here, there's still time for
a good
fungering.
fungering.
Right. We have Gemma Hutton, Humanist celebrant,
Yes.
with us.
Book me.
And I would
Book her.
Get her booked.
Get her
Get her.
Get her book.
I promise I'll be classier at the ceremony.
No,
If that's
don't.
what
If
you
it's
want.
what you want. Like,
if it's
I
what you
mean, sometimes classy isn't always the
No.
best way.
I do get class. Anyway.
Yes. But you are very classy. You are. So
North
the word for this week is beneficience. I want to make sure I'm saying that right. Beneficience.
Beneficence.
Okay. And I enjoyed this word. This was
It's a
actually
nice word to say.
beneficence. It
There's
sounds
nice, lovely bouncy sounds.
yes, sir. A beneficence.
Beneficence.
Well, like a word. So what I wanted to, got a proper. I like to do the proper definition.
Okay, gorge.
So it's the act of helping someone out of care rather than helping someone for the sake of praise. All right.
Nice.
It can also refer.
Gift-based economy rather than capitalist economy.
Yeah. So it can also refer to, the quality of being kind or charitable. Just in general, and it comes from the Latin word benefactum, meaning good deed.
So we get like a benefactor,
Yes.
person who. So factor is usually a word, somebody who does a thing. So benefactor is like a person who does good.
Yeah.
X Factor.
X factor.
Like
ruins
Lives.
life.
But you know the way there's like this thing
Economies.
nowadays where people are like, and I'm sorry for dragging people here because there is a local company that did it, this, and I'm just dubious, right?
Right.
These people that are like, look at this guy, he's homeless. Hear me?
That turns the balls of me.
I'm going to give you a haircut. Look at me giving this homeless guy a haircut.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Virtue signaling.
Do
Yeah.
it, but cut your face out of the picture.
no, take the fucking phone away.
Just
But I
Take
mean,
your
like,
phone away.
Just let people know that you do cuts for homeless people if they need them. Here's the address.
That's what I mean. Like, put it out there that this is available, but don't censor yourself.
How do you feel now, mate? How do you feel now? Do you feel like a human again?
Yeah.
You
look like one.
Have I made you feel better? We had a friend once who, when I say friend, but we know a person who once had to let us know that he had paid for a wee woman's grocery shopping in Tesco's. She was standing in front of him, and so he paid for it. So what was the first thing he did? Told us all on Facebook.
Now, I hate that, right, Gemma, this is why this word, you're humanist, and I mean, I can think of Bible shit that's been drilled into me. I mean,
Yes.
the Pharisees, sort it out, Sean.
Get your arsehole oiled, like seriously.
So for
Is your guts trying to phone your ma? Let's go.
the Pharisees, for example, that old chestnut. And then I actually went into one because I was sick of seeing hashtag good deed done for the day.
No, yeah.
And it was like, what is it? He who does a good deed and and seeks praise for it, that will be the only praise that they get. Do you know what I mean? On this earth, you know? And it's kind of, you're not doing it for that person, you're doing it for yourself. So you nullify the good deed.
You do.
I always think, like, if I do something good and then I tell someone, I've nullified the good deed.
Me too. I feel nearly embarrassed that I have said.
Yeah.
Because you're a bit like, I was a dick there, wasn't I?
And with all this hatred and everything going on right now, Nah. I just think, like, I
Ratters, that's us now.
one of the things that I'm most proud of, that I try to be proud of, is that regardless of all the shitty things that have happened in my life, I still try and be a good person. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't use it as an excuse. Like, especially with me being a recovering alcoholic, I used to love a dose of the poor me's. Because it was like, oh, fuck, but sure, any wonder I'm having a drink. Fucking poor
But do you not
me.
think that
Do you know what I
if
mean?
you've done any self-work at any point in your life, you recognise that at some point you have been the person who gives yourself excuses to do shitty things because, I'm going through this, and so that
That's
allows me to do
why
that.
I'm allowed to act a dickhead.
I always think about like kindness is like I was listening to this thing about a gift-based economy. So a gift-based economy is basically this. So like you're helping somebody, but you are banking goodwill because I know that I am going to need. I have always
The Godfather.
One day I might call in a favour.
I have always depended upon the kindness of
strangers.
strangers.
See the many times I quote Blanche Dubois to people and they're like,
I remember, so years and years ago, back in the day when my mum was a struggling single parent, 3 young boys, and she was lifting me up from, I was doing probably drama at school, and she picked me up a notch. She was picking me up and we're driving along, coming home from Banbridge to go to Donaghcloney, the little village hamlet in which I lived, and the car just conked out because Mum was pushing her luck with the petrol, and she thought that she had like another half an hour worth of petrol when she didn't. So the car conked out along this road, and about 5 minutes walk up the road there was a wee petrol station. Mummy went up and was like, listen, can I, I should know Mummy. Mummy'd no money on her. Back in those days, like the 80s and 90s, if
Cash is king.
Cash is king. Look, if your ma said, "Yeah, I have no money," it meant that she didn't have £5 in her mum's, £2 in her PayPal, maybe a couple of pound in it.
it meant
£0, pence was to be had in this home. So Mummy had no money until her family alliance came in. But so she was sitting, and
Our family
alliance was a group of people. Their family allowance. And
would you like a top up?
We top up.
Are you
Okay, thank you.
Are you sufficiently caffeinated?
I'm fueled.
But and he says, "Go on ahead, love. Fill up." He filled up the one of these wee canister things. Drove Mommy back to the car, which we were sitting in because
He was
it
loving
was
his
okay.
soul, wasn't he?
Probably.
No such thing as a good deed for nothing.
He was getting his tank filled.
Good looking wee
He's looking the empty as ours.
Good looking wee 32-year-old just there on her own. But he went and he says, "There you go." Filled up the thing, and Mommy said, "I have no money." He says, "Well, sure, love, just come along and pay me the money whenever you're next passing by." So like,
and the world is filled with those people.
you
have to remember, don't you?
That is a core moment of my life where I was like, kindness doesn't mean. Now, Mommy did go and pay it, but she might not have.
Yeah.
Though he had no guarantees that she was going to pay that money back.
Yeah, but he did
it. He saw a woman who had 3 kids, and Mommy's good at spiraling out whenever she thinks that she's, things are going wrong. I wonder where I picked it up from. So he went, and that is a moment that will be with me for the rest of my life. And that was just kindness for kindness' sake. Yeah. And I'm always like, yes, I'm religious. Yes, I believe in God. But also I think, I'm not doing it necessarily because I'm going to get into heaven. It's because this is the right thing to do.
Gemma, tell me this.
Yes.
So you were talking about how you were Protestant by birth. But, so you have become a humanist celebrant and that is part of, isn't there a humanist church?
Well, technically, yeah. So humanism is a charity. Actually, it's set up as a charity. It's non-for-profit, and
Humanist NI.
Humanist UK. Humanist UK. There is other smaller branches and stuff.
Is there Humanist Free State?
Free State.
There is Humanist IE. Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah. We're trying to amalgamate actually.
The first time I ever encountered a humanist celebrant was actually at and I don't want to be bitchy, but
Just do it, love.
I feel as though the term grandmother should be earned in a way. You know, I had a fabulous grandmother. She was amazing, my mum's mum. And then I'm not saying anything negative, but I didn't know my dad's mum in life.
She was your
A biological relative.
Yes.
But, you know, I kind of wish now that I had have known her. I wish she got, you know, she was a character.
Yeah.
But at her funeral, she stipulated that she wanted a humanist burial. And I thought that's quite cool, actually, you know, because that's very different to what even, you know, this might have been 20 years ago now.
That's big, yeah.
That was a...
And she had a humanist celebrant at her funeral. And I remember sitting there and they talked about her. Yeah. And I thought... Maybe this is the egotist in me, but I was like, see, at my funeral, it better not be one of those, all righty. I want them to go, here, see Bronagh, even if she was a bit of a cunt sometimes.
I
want people to
honest.
actually talk about my life as opposed, and I do want them to pray for my soul because I kind of am a wee bit superstitious that way.
Yeah.
Get your bets.
But I want it to be, I've been to funerals where I've been really sad because I knew the person that is in the fucking wooden onesie, right? But while I'm sitting during the actual funeral ceremony, it could be anybody.
There's no mention of them.
It kind of desensitizes you because you think, right enough, that is my mate in there. But and then you have to keep, and then you're not listening because you're trying to think about the person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what was it for you that was like, you know what, I'm in a...
I think just, you know, being, I had a civil partnership years ago, and it was just very personal,
bloodless.
Yeah, and I have so many friends that have kind of had the same thing. It feels like a drive-by, because you either get 15-minute in and out job, or you get the full church experience, which out of an hour-long ceremony, I think there was 10 minutes where it involved the actual couple.
Yeah.
And I just wanted, and also, like, let's be real here, you know, I'm a performer, and I'll not be able to perform forever, so how can I use that skill set? And I do like, you know, helping people, and I think that, you know, a wedding day is a very special thing, and I just decided that I wanted to do something meaningful, really, apart from performing, and this just felt like the right thing to do. And humanism is very much not anti-religious, just non-religious, and it's a belief that we are all equals, and the goal should just always be to be a good human being and wish the same for others, regardless of their belief system. You just respect each other, and you do it because, as you say, it's the right thing to do, not because you're scared about burning in hell, not because you're scared of future unknown consequences, because you're in charge of your own moral compass and you know the right thing to do. So it all just sort of clicked for me, and you know. How did you hear about
humanism as like a thing that you could then be part of?
I was invited to speak at a humanist talk, Belfast Castle, by a friend who is a humanist, to talk about being someone who is queer and come from a very religious background. So I actually was part of the Elim Pentecostal Church at one point.
Oh, really?
Were you?
Is that like super?
It's
super
orthodox.
Kind of.
I mean, the irony is that I still talk in tongues, but very differently.
Gaelic.
But yeah, so I came from that kind of that, and that's the thing that a lot of I think that churches can be very, very toxic and dangerous. It is a place where predators can hide. It's the same as schools. It's the same as any type of system. It's not just churches, but also, you know, people crave the sense of belonging, of a community group that should be a safer space. And I think humanism is where we take out the sort of the imposed dogma,
the prerequisite morality that you need to be.
Here's your terms and conditions. Just be good. Just be a good
and
person.
If you sign this contract, eat this wafer, and drink this blood,
you're going there.
You will go up to the big fluffy cloud in the sky.
And it doesn't matter what you do, if you then ask for forgiveness, you're okay.
If you say sorry,
which is like which is like we're not discluding redemption for people.
Yeah, I've got Christian friends, and again, it's about respecting each other's beliefs, and if that's what they believe, and that makes them
it is like
happy.
A spectrum of Christianity.
Great. My daughter believes in God. She's part of the education system, and she's just taught that is fact. And I take her to like I take her to church services. I take her to more progressive church services, though, because I want her to know that just because I don't believe, and she knows I don't believe, that I won't, that I will always support her and her beliefs, and that's what we do. We support and believe, and let people believe what they want.
Yes.
So that's kind of where we're at with things.
That is, like, you know, isn't that how it should be?
Isn't that how we feel? My granddad always used to say a thing that, like, if everybody did what their religion said,
there'd be no war.
We'd have no war.
My granny used to say it all the time.
My granddad used to say it all the time, because my granddad grew up in a time when, because we were poor Protestants, all our neighbours were Catholics. Do you know that way? Like, do you know, it was those days.
Bless.
Yeah.
But do you know those days where, like, your neighbours, it was your class, it wasn't your religion. It's like pre that partition of town, you know.
But would we even have ever had wars if we didn't have religion?
Yeah, this is what I was about to say, because we have Old Testament God versus New Testament God, which is all sunshine and butterflies.
But do you not think, though, that, like, I always try to make, like, as a person of faith, I do have faith. I try to draw the difference between religion and faith. Faith is your relationship with God or higher power or whatever, or frequency, or whatever way you want to call it.
spiritual, not religious in a
Whereas
sense.
religion
but
is
in saying that, you know, you're
different.
saying that you came from a really... So I don't actually know about this Pentecostal.
Elim is it's praise, worship, go up and get your head touched and pass out.
Oh, so that's where you learn to perform.
Like ecstatics.
Yeah, but like there was a lot of like you weren't allowed to be called a member of the congregation, if I recall, unless you gave 10% of your annual wage.
Oh, oh, right, okay.
You had to tithe.
It was business.
So yes. Oh my God, right, okay. And what was that like then whenever you knew that you were a gay woman? Did you think that you had to hide that?
Yeah. Well, I tried to pray the gay away, basically. I wanted to be normal. And, you know, like...
Be normal?
You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
This is what I should be.
From Bangor, quite a dysfunctional relationship with family. Mum was an alcoholic, and I was just really craving somewhere to belong, a stability.
So church
I think.
was a constant.
And church, like the leaflets, the lights, the big band, the energy,
the live music.
I mean, it draws you in. I can see why people are drawn to it and just want to be part of something that's...
Especially if you are a performer at heart. There's something about, like...
And, you know, not even... Like, I wasn't
all.
even performing at that point. It was literally just this sense of somewhere to go that you belonged.
So this was something that you did off... Because, you know, like a lot of us growing up, Catholic and Protestant, when you were growing up, like, religion is something... As I say, like, faith is your faith, religion is the dogma. Religion is the thing. So I'd like to draw the distinction between faith and the religion. But you're brought there by older relatives. You go, it's enforced upon you a wee bit. So, but you sought this out yourself.
I had friends that I worked in a coffee shop, and it was a majority of Christian people who went to the Elim, and all lovely people, you know, and that really sold it to me, you know, and I got so excited because I was just like part of this now, and it just was safer. But then I met someone who, in that friendship group, it really stuck with me, and they had burst into tears because people would mock them for being camp, and they were a gay man, but they had chosen God, which meant that they had chosen, that was their testimony, was to live a life alone, to follow God.
Sad.
And I was like, what God would choose that for someone to give them all that love in their heart, to not be allowed to share it? And that's when I kind of went, now I'm going to the Kremlin.
Was that your...
Yes!
Yeah.
Basically.
Make the Kremlin gay again.
Make the hashtag make the Kremlin gay again. I say this all the time. But did you did you feel, because I feel as a queer person there's always like that kind of it's almost like giving something up. It's almost getting away from, I guess, an abusive relationship or a substance abuse, where like maybe you're wrong. Maybe all that thinking beforehand, maybe all that teaching and all that dogma and all that religion, and the choice I've made now to be authentic to myself, maybe this is the mistake. And like even now at 43, turning 44 in a few months, I'll have like, you know, a moment, because as you were saying about your wee girl, the Northern Irish religious education system is so... It's the indoctrination is so molecular level into your system.
Yeah.
I guess that's why it's faith, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, do you know, from the point of view of, like, I was obviously brought up through Catholic schools, all-girl Catholic school, all-girl secondary school. I sat in university in my first lecture and went, why is this so fucking different and annoying? It's because men are speaking, right? And I realised that there was this lad who hadn't done the reading, who had a really strong opinion about something. And I was like, I had imposter syndrome despite the fact that I had done the reading. And he was just like, I have clearly not done the reading, but I am entitled to. And I went, that's what this is. I've never been in a fucking learning environment with guys before. Not that I don't want to be a misandrist, right? But he was just a dick. But like, I grew up with all that where it was just God is God and it's non-questionable. And you do as a kid, you believe blindly. And I know that you're supposed to believe in God like through the eyes of a little child, which is unquestioningly blindly. But then as I get older, I was like, actually, no, I have questioned and doubted and lost faith and found it again and whatever else. And the only one true thing I know is that I believe in God, you know, and that's my higher power. But, you know, do or say what you want. My kids being neurodivergent on one level or another, kids are more clued on these days because I remember I couldn't fucking wait to make my communion to get the money. That
is a racket and a half.
I was like, I wanted the money.
Protestants
I wanted to be a princess for the day.
I wanted to be a Catholic for the day, get that money.
All day long.
50 cent.
Like,
got £20 in my pocket.
One of them guns.
You had no concept of what
Up a wafer.
a lot of money was. So like,
If you got £20,
you got all the money like for, and your mom would go.
and then your man gave you
I'll take
£5 and
that."
you were like, I'm fucking minted, and she was away with the rest.
Exactly.
My man buying useless shit like electric and fucking groceries, and I wanted a Barbie.
rent.
£5.60 you made, Bronagh, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
That's because you get like...
My kids will still, and this is it. I used to go, where's my communion money? My kids got all their communion money. I never spent that.
Would you get all your kids confirmed for the money?
They're in Catholic
Sounds
school.
weird. Get them confirmed.
No,
you
they don't
kid?
get confirmed. They don't get confirmed until gender confirmation. Now
Yeah,
there's
boy.
another thing.
Sure.
I don't know. No, I'm a bit suspicious.
Come back to me in a year.
Bring it up.
You're a 45-year-old Romanian assassin.
Do a gum density test on you there. But my kids have actually went, like, my middle child, living up to his fucking title, went to me. They do it in P4 now, they don't make it in P3. Teachers used to work harder back in my day because you had to get your first confession and your first communion in P3. Now they do it, split it up. But my kid, I ordered his wee suit and all, and I thought, right, you're going to look like a wee defendant for the day, right? You know, he's going to look all cute.
Preparation.
And he,
Get his communion picture outside Lagan Court.
Jazzy Shankle, stand behind me, you late.
Do you call it like catechism? Is that what you call the class that you take as you're leading up to being confirmed?
I don't know what you call it. We just called it end of the year. Meanwhile, you're Geppetto in the school play, but you have to go here and be a proper Catholic. So confirmed is P7.
Oh, right. So
Confirmation is different from communion. Confirmation is a rite of its own.
So first confession.
Your first confession is where you go and you lie. You lie
So what
because
was
you
your
say,
first
I kicked
confession?
my brother, even if you don't have a brother. I stole from my mummy. She didn't have any money to steal. I did this. And then they go and say Hail Mary and an
What if you were a really dark child and you were like, I killed a cat?
I can't remember where I left the body.
The best confession I ever went to. I love that, Gemma. That would have probably
put
been you.
I went to visit my grandmother, and
Anything for attention.
She's been dying of lung cancer for 5 years, and so I just put the pillow over her face.
I love that you always go American whenever you're doing a bit.
Yeah, I know. It's like his wee inner autistic child.
And I leaned on it. She only struggled a little bit. I think she really embraced it towards the end.
And say 6 Hail Marys and you'll be alright, son.
The priests on the other side going like this.
Well, my stepdad went to confession before, and it was sometimes especially whenever they're doing first confessions now, they have the priest all out on the altar. They don't get you to go into a wee box with them anymore, you know what I mean? Terms and conditions apply.
I wonder where.
But, so, I went...
Did you past naughty behaviour? The priest's not allowed to be on their own with you anymore?
I think I honestly maybe am a bit more paranoid, but I think the teachers have seen how I carry on online, and whenever I go to any of my kids' things, they're like,
That's going into a column on the Irish News next week.
But I went to a confession before, and one of the kids was up talking to the priest, and he was going, and then I went like that, and then I went, and I said fuck. And he was proper angry, right? I was just like, this kid is class, right? First performance. But my stepdad went to one of those ones with the priest, right? And he said, like, I had a lot of shit to say, but see the guy that went to him before me? I don't know what he said, but your man was pale. The priest was really pale.
Priest
when I
went
came
on a
to him,
fag
and he
break
looked
afterwards.
Like he was gonna sort of pass out. And I went, fuck. Wish I was a priest. Do you know what I mean?
The power.
Like, yeah, just to like hear.
Power of Grayskull.
You are not a man of God.
You are not a man of God. Yeah.
So what are you crying for? Didn't you win?
I was just sitting here laughing at the Maglins. It's just dark.
There's a girl at
You
university.
are not a man of God.
There's a girl at university turned around and says, "They once have you seen that? Have you seen that film, The Maudlin Sisters?"
The maudlin tree.
You know what I mean? And I was like,
Another apt name.
Maudlin, because it was.
It was
wasn't
maudlin.
It's not one of them films you go, Mum will get a bag of sun-kissed popcorn and stick it
Yeah.
on the Maglin Sisters. Do you know what I mean? It's
Fancy a rom-com the night.
fancy a rom-com.
Yeah.
We'll sandwich it between 12 Years a Slave and Hotel Rwanda. Mum will watch it.
Fucking gay, yeah. That's the reasons to kill yourself trifecta. That's the kind of thing your granny would, if you were going on a date with your first boyfriend, your granny would say, go and see the Magdalene Sisters, because she'd know there'd be no fingering
You'd
going
be
on.
handing on your hip now, like straight the whole time.
yeah.
In our house, my granny used to make
Skirt
us watch.
straight.
My granny used to make us watch, like, nearly
Happens
every
a lot.
weekend, all of the Colin Firth and Jennifer Ealy Pride and Prejudice,
Oh, did you?
which I didn't mind, but I know my
I was about to say, right, and they didn't.
They
right,
did,
yeah.
they did. I didn't mind. My favourite bit is whenever, Lizzie is turned around and, just gives it stacks to Lady Catherine de Bourgh to go, I don't actually fucking fancy him, but if he
Yeah.
does, I'm not going to promise you I'm not going to say yes, because if he does come, it's like my decision.
I don't give a fuck about your daughter.
Fuck you.
Right.
And
It's
there
like
we-
director's cut, is it?
This was Guy Ritchie's Pride
Guy
and fucking
Ritchie.
Prejudice.
Yeah. See, you might want to chafe his cack. Chafe his cack.
Yes.
Do you know what? You'll know I've been chafing his cack because I've no fucking lips left to fucking chafe the lips off him. Do you know what I mean? I've like this here from fucking cock chafing, you fucking bitch.
You're
right, that's
fucking
it.
Gonna have lips thinner than Theresa May. Be running through his fields
Like a cat's arsehole.
I just had an image there, which was
Of a cat's arsehole.
of a cat's arsehole all day
Oh,
long.
which is... Yeah, we have two cats and they like to show you their arsehole, don't
Yeah,
they?
so there's a part of me as well that's kind of like,
You like showing your arsehole?
you want to go,
Oh, right. I think there we
You're
You just wanna
obsessed.
you just want to show...
obsessed
You're
with sticking
obsessed
your
with sticking
fingers.
fingers on
I'm
thumbs.
obsessed, yeah. But have you seen people that get the wee gems for their cat's arseholes?
Oh, no, I don't like that because I think...
There's wee things,
Yeah.
right? You get it's
not
like a
just
wee
cats.
a wee tail. You put it over the tail. It's like a wee bracelet thing.
Just cats.
And-
No, have you not seen the butt plugs?
Oh, we-
The gems.
Oh,
yeah, I have one.
Or a tail.
I do,
a tail. You can get a tail butt plug.
I cank.
For the
Not that I
furries, some of the furries like
But
that.
also,
get-
like, imagine someone
Just pull on
playing
your...
catchy. Do you remember you played,
Flag
you had, like
football.
somebody had pinned a tail on their back? Imagine getting that pulled out of your arsehole
Can you
unexpectedly.
imagine like you're
Unexpected.
going around?
Right. Right, who's got my butt plug? Who's got it? That's it.
Training yourself to
Let me
clench.
smell that. Yeah, it's mine.
The Holy Ghost flies at the back.
You know the way as a kid, like you always wanted the most realistic looking costume, and you ended up with a black bag, and if you were
Yeah.
lucky, there was a hole cut in it, right?
Oh, yeah.
For you, my man just wanted
To be
to.
able to breathe.
Trying to stick her finger in it.
Yeah, she's
a hole?
stick her finger-
Yeah, it's the ADHD in me. It's just
She's
like,
the little girl who stuck her finger
yes,
the little girl who stuck her finger in a dike.
It's a little boy who put his finger in a dike.
in a day.
The dike was not amused.
That it was.
Do you know?
Yeah, but can you imagine, like, you got your kid a cat costume, and you were like, now, if you really want it to be realistic,
Commit.
kid, you need to commit to the part. Now, bend over.
You have to stick your hole into people's faces just with no one warning.
Yeah.
Do you want to get in the Juilliard or not?
During my days in RADA, we played Cats the Musical. Went to a lot of poppers, I can tell you.
He asked me to move that chair. I said, I went to RADA, not Pickford's.
I I love Dame Judi Dench just
Yeah.
walking about going, I knew why I took this role.
But like 3 months to put her leg over her head so she can lick her own asshole.
Did you see that they actually had to
Everybody
call
wants
it?
to be a cat.
Memories.
Yeah, they had to erase the
Had
arseholes.
to erase the arsehole so Judi Dench isn't in it anymore.
They left James Corden in it.
Yeah.
No, James Corden's not in it anymore.
I don't understand why there were. There's a lot. Like my friends and I, we went to see Cats in the cinema.
It freaked me
It was a
out.
form of abuse.
Yeah.
And my friends
you're
were
kinda
really
savage,
high, and they absolutely whited midway
Oh
through.
my god,
Oh, no.
midway!
And just dropped the Maltesers and they slowly rolled down. You could hear them on. And that was me gone between watching fucking Taylor Swift with her weird wee furry tits coming down and then Judi Dench as a cat wearing a fur coat. Don't know, like, was it the skin of her ancestors?
Is that,
The fuck was
is
that?
that cannibalism?
And then just the Maltesers
cannibalism.
rolling down the tilt. I was like,
Get me off.
I leave.
Judi Dench playing the the Buffalo Bill of Cats.
Oh my god. Tucking her
Brings it
tail
back
in.
to-
She puts on the lotion.
He puts the lotion on the
Or
skin.
it will get the hose. It will put the lotion on the skin. I don't know.
Are you Cher?
Well, I'm Bill Hickok.
You're on the butt plug with cozy wear.
Cheers, wow, Bill Hickok.
Snap out of it.
Snap out of it and put the lotion on, asshole.
So I rang my ma.
Yes.
So rang my
I
ma.
rang my ma, right? Yeah, they added all the arseholes out of. I watched Cats for the first time. My brother-in-law, I was in London and he was like, "You've not seen cat shit?" And I was like, "Cat shit, that's it."
I know, just had to catch it, yeah.
And I was
I've seen cats
I've
at the fucking
actively
ring
been
street.
avoiding it because it's freaking me out. And you went,
Oh,
Bronagh,
no.
it will freak the fuck clean out of you. And they have that setting on their TV where, you know that setting that makes everything feel like you're in a weird dream? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Marijuana?
4K?
People that get,
Right.
yeah, it's like a 4K thing. So he put it on and I could only
HDR.
watch the first, like 5
that
minutes
what it
of it.
is?
And I was like, turn it off. I'm sober. I'm trying not to
This is
relapse.
the thing.
Yeah,
I've
too much.
never,
It's
se-
too
I've
much
never,
love.
I've
Bad.
never, like, this isn't like a, confession of my goodness, but I have never taken like controlled substances. But I feel I would have
Never
to
taken
ask.
controlled substances.
I've never controlled. I
can
would
neither confirm nor deny.
No, but I would need. I feel like I would need to watch the
No,
movie.
that would be worse.
Do you think?
Honestly, it would be
you
worse.
would end up in fucking Knockbracken.
Yeah, you would.
swear
And
to-
I didn't know that it was about. So I didn't even know what Cats was about, by the way. And then I goes
it
in, this is all
demands?
happening, and at the end, what, they all just die in a basket? And I'm like, the hot
never
air
made
balloon
it to
is a
the
metaphor to, like,
Spoiler alert. There used to be a program called Caroline in the City, and her.
Oh, yes.
And her best friend was a dancer in Cats, and she goes, "Oh my god, the matinee today was so quiet. I could hear the old ladies at the front going, oh my god, they are cats. I thought it was a metaphor."
Well, I still have never seen the end. Do not intend to learn anything
Don't.
about it.
Because
Don't
it's
do
more
it.
like a kind of
Don't do
it.
mash
5
of-
minutes
What's
of
it? What's it based on? Compendium of cats? Or,
Ah, fuck knows.
do you like it's a book?
Dante's Seventh Circle of Hell.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's the seventh because it's as small as a cat's asshole. It's like
Yeah.
that's the very tightest one. at the
I
very
once
end.
said, see if you, speaking of the Seventh Circle of Hell, I was in the
John
Park
Murray.
Centre.
Park Centre. Park Centre close, yeah.
I was in
I had
the
to go to
Park
the passport
Centre.
office in Dunbar.
And I always think, see if you want a good day out watching Maz slabber at each other and hit their kids, go to Park Centre, right? And you will see. It's like you can have Park Centre bingo, right? Yeah,
There's 4
Park
shops.
Centre
There's
bingo,
4 shops.
right? B, a ma hitting her kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, some tramp stealing from the pound shop.
Yep.
Right? Oh, by the way, but
You stole literally dozens of pounds worth of scrunchies.
Yeah, all day long. She's only a 3-year-old child. How would she know what she was doing? She wasn't lifting it. Get under the pram. She put it there. I didn't lift it. But
No stereotypes were harmed in the making of this podcast.
she's from the Free State. But state of her.
Take your head out of your head and let the holes out for flaps.
I was sitting there and it was just hell. And I turned to this guy who was sitting beside me.
Like a rando?
A rando. And you know the way you do, just make
You do,
random
babe.
conversation with randos whenever you are in a shared collective
Probably not in the
space
park
of
centre,
mental-
considering someone got stabbed there about 3 months ago.
Well, this is
yeah.
it. I
Most
said,
recently.
this guy kind of looked like his head was done in too.
Yeah.
Aye.
And I went to him, it's like the seventh circle of hell here, isn't it? And he just looked at me and went, and get up and walked away. And I was like, yep, confirmed.
Yeah.
And then I said this on Facebook. I
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
just like imparted what had just happened, this transaction on Facebook. And a mate of mine went, how fucking dare you go damn day in the park centre, you weird cunt.
She was the guy walked around, she went,
That was the owner of Park Centre you were speaking to.
she's some weird fucking book reading fruit.
Do you know I was in... Speaking of
Who
people,
she thinks she is? Fucking Belle? Look at me.
looks like we got a little reader here.
Here's the mothers that they're beating their children. And the tramp stealing monster.
There must be more to this wee Andy town.
And that's it, folks. That's all she wrote. I was in this bar,
So
actually.
it is.
So it is. The other day, I was in this bar with my almost 13-year-old. He's a tween. And this happened. No shit, right? This happened. May God strike me stone dead. So we're standing there and I'm getting ready to pay. And then next thing you know, the guy just ran out from behind the counter and ran out on the street and went, here, come fucking back. Come here now. And he started running. And I was like, right, okay.
They just
And I
waited,
waited. And then he ran back in holding a bottle of Yazoo. Right?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I was like, risk your life for a bottle of Yazoo, okay. You could literally take everything from the fucking till and I'd just be like, help yourself, it ain't worth it.
What you
But-
called the bandit? Alison Moyer was in.
Only you.
So only you. So we ran in and he went, I can't fucking did that last week as well. So I was ready for him and I was like, he stole it. And then I thought I was being funny. And I went, my milkshake brings all the thieves to the bar. And they're like, I'm gonna run far, right? So there was I cracking up at myself proper, like,
That was a
did
good
mommy
one.
crack a
That's
funny?
comedy
good,
gold.
that was
You were
Not
casting
only-
your comedy pearls before swine.
I was. I
You
thought
were.
I was.
You fucking were.
And not only did he not laugh, my child wanted
I was about to say,
disown
did your child want to die? Yeah.
He was not amused.
Yeah.
He looked at me and like rolled his eyes and walked away with his can of fucking Monster, whatever it was.
Sell him on the dark web.
And
They're
he was
rushing
like,
for his body
you're
parts.
so
Sell him into
embarrassing.
CX.
Oh, they
I
lose
can't
the money.
believe you get paid to do comedy. And I was like, exactly, he should have gave me that fucking shit for free. That was hilarious.
Them fucking
Sponsored
strawberry
ad.
shoots don't pay for themselves. So we fucker give them back.
Yeah,
That's
give it back. Give it back, you cunt. Do you want to do this week's Swear Down?
Swear.
We have a Swear Down. We're da 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 da. You're in
It's
the
like
seventh
Vegas.
circle here.
Vegas. It's like Avatar.
This is how to swear without swearing. How to call someone a cunt without
Whereas
saying
the
a bad
Patrick
word.
Sean is swearing. Well, this is like This is like swearing adjacent. When like you're getting a good dig in, but if the person,
But without saying come puffin.
yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
you cunt puffin cockwomble.
So I suggested that this
Cunt.
week's swear down was bigot, but we technically already had that covered when William Thompson's episode was happening because it was Hun, which also
Also, no shade to William Thompson because we're not saying.
no shame.
No, we're saying.
No.
We had that covered when William Thompson came on.
Oh, I don't mean You know I love you, William. I'm talking about
I
you
was going to
covered
edit
that.
this so that it just stops talking.
Don't
At that
you
moment where
dare.
it says
Haven't-
William Thompson
covered
killed
by
him.
the-
Haven't
William
spoken
was
to William in years, and then he DM'd me about a month ago. Was like, "Hi, hope you're well. Just wondering if you know where I can get a pair of silicone tits."
I love that.
I mean, it makes sense now, but I was like, "Try Elliot's. All the best."
Yeah, try it.
That's probably the
Just like, who do I know?
Enjoy your.
Jack Von Dyke. Yeah,
Like, not
literally
even
just was
one
like,
of the drag queens.
"No."
Like,
Well,
the
yeah,
drag king
I was very
doesn't
honoured.
need the tits.
I was very honoured.
Not at
By
all,
time the
bless
drag
him.
kings had more seniority.
Yeah,
Just saying. Just saying.
Hashtag Daddy in the North. No, so what is this then?
Absolutely.
so you tell this is
Blankerdom.
your
Oh, right.
Blankerdom,
Blankerdom.
darling.
So this is like this is kind of like I will look it up because I sent this.
You sent it into
And
the
the
group
thing,
chat.
so-
Do you remember that show? Or maybe you're older than me.
I
Do you
am.
remember that one? And it was like, did they wear like a black glove on a Henrietta Hoover vacuum? And they were like, up
Oh, words
And round.
words and pictures.
and round.
And you watched it in P1.
I would still watch that at 4 o'clock in the morning when I can't sleep. It's soothing.
It's like ASMR now.
The one I remember is the J, all the way down and flick and dot. Or all the way down and around and dot.
When you go down on someone, if you do that, but like spell pineapple, apparently it's 10 out of 10.
Really? You mean apparently you're just saying this is trying to test it?
Well, you know, I'm dyslexic.
Pineapples. Plimpopple.
Plimpopple.
I got a pan. I got a plimpapple. Plimpapple pan.
And that's how you orgasm, folks. Follow me for more sex-saving tips.
That's how you get a South Korean lesbian off.
I fucking love it.
So blinkerdom is...
Go.
South Korean lesbian.
Are they allowed?
Blinkerdom. South ones are.
North.
Oh, yeah.
North ones are.
No.
They've got like So blinkerdom is very rare. And also, if you meet some of these people, they're also rare. Narrow-mindedness, hostility to non-traditional ideas, inability to see beyond the obvious, unusual, or familiar, which I feel is very apt. Blinkerdom. So you just blinkered. You blinkered. You blinkered. You cock-chafing, blinkered, ill-reared fuckface.
Yeah.
And that's how you avoid swearing at someone then? Yeah,
That's
David?
how I avoid
Okay,
it.
excellent. Good.
Because
just
by the
frame
time you
round
get
it
to
with
the
swears.
fuckface, they've walked away.
They have. Oh, come you back here.
Here, I've more to
Fuckface.
say.
I've more to say to you.
Can't say it if you can't spell it, you can't cheat.
I think that should be like if you're like when your kids are learning to swear, you can say it if you can spell it.
My kids.
Frankie would let, yeah.
Yeah, my kids have already done that.
But that's your own fault.
David
That's
fucking Angela Lansbury.
That's your own fault for not smoking
I
around them
shared
whenever
a
they were first born.
photograph
That's
and
your
my
own
dad.
fault.
I
That's
know.
your own
Well,
fault for
do
letting
you
their
know-
brains develop.
I remember
Sorry.
a friend of mine actually saying to me when I was pregnant, she went, "Have you stopped smoking?" And I said, "Yeah, I can't. It actually turns me, but I don't because I'm pregnant." And she went, "My mummy always said, keeps them small."
Yeah. I've heard that.
Like older people.
Makes for an easier labour. Keeps them
small.
wee.
Like,
Yeah.
also stillbirth. What the fuck?
Yeah, but like, you got to weigh up.
Got to weigh up like
How
quickly
thin child, easier to clothe. Stillbirth,
Child with tar on their lungs, you catch them quicker because they can't run. They run out of brains.
torn
Do you know what I mean?
perineum.
Torn perineum. Yeah.
Oh, look at you watching 6 episodes of Grey's Anatomy.
That's a
yeah.
drag king name,
Yeah,
isn't
he
it?
went
Tom
into-
Perineum.
Tom
Perineum.
Perineum.
Fuck, I love it.
This is
Yes.
great.
Perineum.
That's a drag king
That's
name.
for all
And
the
I
drag
do.
princes
I
who are
do
coming out
want.
of the perineum.
I really want to drag. Are you taking a drag king class?
I am talking about it, about doing like a little workshop. I mean, I'm
In the greenhouse or something?
maybe, yeah. I'm torn because, part of me
Did
is
you
like,
have a torn perineum?
no, I didn't pop her out. I googled it. Looked far too
Yes,
sore.
but for a good reason, for a fun reason.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I tore my taint.
That was a good pineapple. That was a good pineapple doubledom day.
Pineapple plum.
That's my new album. It's a cover of Natalie Imbruglia's Torn. Thought I saw my whole brought to life. So yeah. I want to do like a drag king workshop. And,
So mama.
and I think you're always torn as a performer doing something like a workshop because on one hand I'm not going to be doing it forever, and I think it's really important. And there's so much misogyny that actually kinging is a very liberating performance platform.
Isn't it weird that by taking that the performance art of taking on masculine or hyper masculine attributes as a performance exposes huge amount of misogyny.
Can I tell you
There's
something?
There's something paradoxical about
as
that.
As a performer, I don't think it's a performance. Like whenever I'm on stage and I feel as though I naturally am like a he/him, right? And whenever I was in uni and we were all auditioning for this play, I happened to be cast as the lead male, despite the fact that there were men auditioning. And I was
I'm not
like,
saying anything wrong
what
with this
does-
so far.
I was like, this is awesome for a start.
A woman can always do a man's job
What does
better.
this? And it was very forward thinking of this particular lecturer at the time. But I was like, Yeah, what does that say? Maybe I think that my natural go-to whenever is probably more mask.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, even comedy scene. So, like, I mean, I did it, 15, 16 years ago. It was like before you guys all came along. And there was very few female presenting female people in the comedy scene. And I actually, the reason I left it, it felt quite, nobody was intentionally toxic, but it just felt like it was a very hard industry to break into.
Can I piggyback on what you're saying? Because what I was going to say earlier, and what I love about you, sorry for interrupting, and what I love about you is I find you, and this is going to sound really arse-licky and fucking shitty, and people know that I'm not that type of person.
Just do it, just sycophant.
What I love about you, and what I really admire about you, and I do feel a bit emotional saying it, is that I do feel like you carved a space for me, in a way, because I don't know why I suddenly got really emotional about this. You probably didn't even mean you to do it. So I'm sorry about that. That you made this space for me. I'm the result. I'm one of your mistakes. But you made a space for me because in this kind of, as you say, nobody means to be toxic, but it is very much a boys' club, and I feel like you're time and time and time again. You're overlooked for things. You're not asked for things. You're not included. Your name is not on the things. You know, like there was a whole big, and like the person who did this didn't mean to do it, but there was this big poster made of every single person who was in the Northern Irish scene, except me. Everybody was on it, and I was like, oh, okay. And I tried to make a joke about, did you run out? But it is that. So, but why I admire you is because I know we've spoken about this, and you have said the same thing, and it's exactly what you're saying now. You have carved space for queer people like me to go, do you know what? You will regret ignoring me because
you're gonna love me.
I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep going. And you created Dick. You are also there's a Gemma show coming up as well.
There is a Gemma show coming up.
So do you know what I mean? So I'd like to say, I don't know. I just do this kind of like
it is a big deal because
emotion.
Like 17 years ago, you know, as a lesbian and a female, just wasn't a thing. And I remember having to go out onto the stage and go after someone doing a joke about like granny porn and big dicks and really like heavy masculine oriented energy,
fruit.
and then you've got to go on and everyone rolls their eyes because they think you're going to talk about periods, which you know I obviously did. And you know I even got like I couldn't even write new material in the end. Like I just got so inside my head about what do they want to hear, and when you had some safe jokes you didn't veer away from it because if you tried new stuff and they weren't ready for it, or it was just I overthought it, and I started to cannibalise myself, and that's why I stepped back from the Northern Irish scene. Again, no one person did it. There was lovely support out there, but it was just the energy at the time. And now it's wonderful. There's so many female, trans, non-binary people out there, queer people out there, and if I broke the seal a little bit, then great. And you know, I've always like.
But you've also been a really good mentor to people, because I remember there's some really, for example, like Leo Lardy, who is just a wee dote. We love you, Leo.
I haven't seen Leo in ages.
But he was part of your remember Queertopia? Remember the first Queertopia? Yeah. You midwifed. For good or for ill. Yeah. You got some people who was Elaine, who does the door in Maverick.
Oh, that wasn't Queertopia. That
was that not the same?
It was a Unison fundraiser, I think, and it was like a workshop for people who had never done stand up before. And we just got loads of queer.
It was a queer tinge. Yeah.
Can I just say sorry, but like on reflect, see, whenever I'm saying like mask energy, right? What I wanted to tack on was that we associate that with male, like we say mask, but that's my energy. Do you know what I mean?
Because
it's not a man's, it's yours.
You know what I mean? It's mine. And whenever women realise that, like, we have that energy and we don't need to go, that's male energy. Do you know what I mean?
Masculine and feminine are attributes rather than genders, or sexes,
they're
or
constructs, social
energies.
Constructs.
Rather than
People always say I've got big dick energy.
Yeah,
but I've just got big uterus energy, I guess, because I've got a uterus.
You got BD.
Don't really want it. Like, honestly, if I could take it out and use it as an occasional purse instead, I would. Here we are.
You're like Mary Poppins taking your shoes out. Do you know what I mean?
Incidentally, I have a friend. Well, God rest her now. But she was training to be a nurse, and she came home from Stirling, where she was training at the time, and she went,
my old alma mater.
Oh, Bernard, I just don't know if I can do it. And I went, why? And she went, well, we were in, and there was a woman who had a hysterectomy, right? And the packed her. So my job was to unpack her. And she said, she was in the room and she said she was pulling out all the stuff and she
gosh.
went and she was going, I feel like a magician.
But weird if a rabbit came
A
out.
wee woman was lying there. I know, well, a rabbit, I have one of them as well.
Yeah.
But a wee woman was lying there going, don't worry about it, love, it's all right. And I was like, maybe
there's
it
not-
isn't for you.
sure
Maybe
there's-
the nursing's not for you.
There's nothing to fall out, love. They've already took it all out. It's
took it
all
all out.
okay.
It's okay. It's a cave.
It's a cavern. It's a cavern of
yeah.
secrets.
Nobody
But yeah,
lives
you're
there.
totally right about the energy. It's just that's how people describe dominant energy, and then yeah,
Yes, that's it.
That's how they
I have
describe
heard
dominant
it. I
energy.
have heard it sometimes. This by the perhaps problematic Jonathan Van Ness. We don't know. We were never there. We weren't on the set.
I loved it. Please don't tell me there's problematic now.
Apparently a little bit nasty, but we weren't there.
right.
I can't say.
Never meet
we
your
don't know.
heroes.
We don't know. But anyway,
Don't meet anyone.
Don't meet anybody. Just stay in the house.
Everyone's a dick.
They kind
Do you
of
know that a
mentioned
group of people is known collectively as a fuck that?
as a melt,
Yeah,
a melt of
melt.
people. But they talked about like solar and lunar energy, which is quite. I thought instead of saying mask, I know that sounds a bit hippy dippy, but if you're not, if people aren't comfortable, which I can totally understand because trying to get away with the few lips. But do you know that like just trying to change terminology a wee bit. Like you say, yeah, masculine energy doesn't necessarily need to mean men, quote unquote. Feminine doesn't mean women, quote unquote. Because sometimes I feel when I'm performing on stage, I feel like a plainclothes drag queen.
Yeah, I mean, I feel very fragile when I go out as Gemma. Like,
Do
I feel
you?
very vulnerable. Like, when I go out as Dick, there is something that changes, and the way people speak to me, like men make eye contact with me,
Oh,
and they're either fuck you for taking away my dominance, or and they'll try and mock me, and then I'll descend upon them and reconstruct their body, or I'm one of the lads.
Please know
it's
that,
very interesting.
Please know that Gemma and Dick is far cleverer than you are.
Yes.
So please
don't be a dick.
Just don't.
Public service announcement.
Just don't.
can I say, by the way, that article in I always refer to you as Gemma because I have not
That's
actually
fine,
met you
yeah.
as Dick.
Yeah.
But then whenever he's talking about you, he goes Dick, and I'm
Yeah.
like, so I go she, and he
Where?
goes he.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Sorry. But there was an article, was it the Telegraph?
Yes.
And it was all about Gemma drag kinging.
Yes.
And
Brilliant kind of breakthrough
it was fucking
kind of,
class, yeah.
article because we talk about drag queens all the time.
Such a gag reading the
The
comments.
Oh my
Yeah.
Because it was
God.
the fact that some people were like, you'll never be a real woman. And I was like,
people
you do
You
realise?
need to accept that the best one was you need to accept you've got a penis and get over it. And I was like,
Prove you haven't read the article without actually saying that you haven't read the article.
but also though, slay at my photos then. Because I'm like,
I'm saying, yeah.
I fancy Dick.
This is the.
I have to
I think
say.
everybody fancies Dick.
Yeah.
But Dick
Dick's hot.
Dick has got fuck me energy.
Yes. Real, like
Don't ask
fuckboy.
my name, spit in my mouth.
Thirst
yeah,
trap.
Do you know what
he's
I
very
mean?
pansexual energy. You know, he'll
Dick
help out
is
in a busy
thirst trap,
weekend.
like, all day long.
But also, it's like
Help out
it's
the busy weekend.
it's people going. It's people that think they're complimenting me by going, "You're far more attractive as a man," you know, and I'm like,
Oh no,
"Fuck you,"
you bastard.
but also fair.
Fucking
No, you're
rude.
sexy.
Oh no,
bitch.
I'm alright. Like, you know,
And a
I mean,
handsome man.
she's not.
We are
She's,
talking-
she's
we
never
are-
had a drought.
It's not a. Yes, we're not saying Dick is sexy, but we're just saying Dick is sexy.
Dick is sexy.
Full
Full
stop.
stop.
That's the whole. We're
Well,
talking
thank
about
you.
Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's good. It's a fun gender illusion, and you know, my demographic, as you know, in cabaret is I get milfs and gilfs
Melfs and
that I don't
gilfs.
want to milf or gilf.
No.
To be clear,
Really?
I get like this older demographic of
Semi-skimmed
lady
milf.
Oh, do you?
who private message semi-skimmed gilf, yeah, there was a woman, and I was speaking about it in Roxy Tumbles, Tumble Dryers podcast, that this woman came up to me and was like, after the show, she was like, I just wanted you to know that I'm a biology teacher and I know how it works. And I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that means.
What does
You
it
know
mean?
what? You know what? How where it works? What?
There's something about like if you were to.
Is that a brag? Was she like,
don't know
I've seen
what she-
diagrams, so I'll be
Like
able to
how-
make
Diagrams
you...
of what?
You
Man
will-
with GCSE drag king biology? What?
You will
fucking love
be
this.
coming like Niagara Falls. That's basically what she was saying in that thing.
Don't go
like, you know what I
chasing
mean?
waterfalls.
Don't go chasing
Yeah.
waterfalls.
Yeah.
Face. But I think that's what she. That's. But
Yeah.
you read a little was. that give you a little bit of the horn? Because it's just like it sounded like a lot of words meaning.
Honestly
I
terrifies
will ride
me.
you.
I'm not very good. So like I exude this sexual sort of vibe. That's what Dick does. You know, he flirts and charms,
Very
much.
right? But I'm not like I'm very happily with my partner, and I don't really pick up if someone's flirting with me unless it's explicitly.
Here, do you want to see my...
Fanny
Would
and
you?
face.
Yeah, right. Because I'm just not looking. I'm not interested.
No.
So then whenever people go, do you realise what they said? And I'm like, what? And they're like, you look like a 12-year-old boy who hasn't gone through puberty yet, but it's just in a picture of tits. And I'm like, okay, bye.
True.
Shit myself and run backstage.
Dick still is in his infancy whenever it comes to like flirting with the ladies.
Yeah.
Have you anything coming up that like you want to
Um,
promote?
I can't promote the thing I'm working on
Just yet.
Right.
But watch this space.
Yeah, but watch
You
the
need to
space.
come on before it's ready.
And
Don't touch me.
it'll be
there.
Gemma. And then as Dick, I've got the Fuego Vital anniversary is sold out this weekend at Black Box.
So don't even try and get a
Don't even
ticket.
bother. We've got Belfast Burlesque Festival in November. I'm going to be hosting the professional element of that.
Awesome.
And also, I think I've got a couple of other like Fuego and Sin City shows. And then also Denver's in Downpatrick. We had a drag brunch there on
Right.
Saturday. It went really well. It was really wholesome. And I'll be doing some more cabaret style stuff with them as well. Hopefully.
Yes,
that
I
gonna
was
be a
speaking
repeated
to
thing?
somebody who saw you in Downpatrick and said you were fantastic.
Obviously.
Absolutely
kind.
brilliant, and that they loved it. And it was their birthday, actually. Was it yesterday? So happy birthday to that person.
Happy birthday.
Did they come up and sing Maniac?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll talk to you after.
Talk to me after. But
it
yeah,
comes
and then
to Maniac.
obviously if David isn't on, I'm on for the
Yeah.
cabarets.
Yes.
The cabarets,
We do
The homeland.
The home.
the husband,
Our home bar.
the husband and wife
The husband
team.
and the wife team.
It has
of-
been an absolute fucking pleasure.
Thank
to
you so
have
much.
on,
Thank you so much for
Gemma.
having me in.
Thank you so honestly. Thank you so much.
absolutely
This is
love
going to
you.
be a really good episode. This was so
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah, it really was.
Been a journey.
And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our Patreon for more fun after. I actually am not in the next Patreon because it is Gemma, David and Patri Sean having an absolute ball. They looked like they were having fun whenever I
Course,
showed
crack.
up too.
It was
Crack and bants.
Yeah,
Cracks and bants.
cracks and bants. So please do. Thank you so much for joining us. Word up, don't be a dick and tell your wee granny I was asking about her.